Hi, everyone. This is Franco from Real Review Hub. This is day 2 of the One Funnel Away Challenge. Day 2 is failure. This is our case study to see the full 30 days, what happens. Again, for those that have tuned into our previous other videos, you know that I'm the newbie in this group, and my partner, Frank, who's still away on business, is a little bit more experienced, okay? So day 2's challenge basically was, I'm going to briefly go into it, okay? Quickly show you here a little bit where Russell had about 2.5-minute video, okay, where he talks about failures and his personal failures, okay, his lonely times, his pain, his struggle, what he went through, and what he's basically saying is he took that as fuel to help him succeed, okay, which makes sense, absolutely, to me. Then the second thing right here where they discuss is your build belief for us, right? That's what's important, which basically means is some people say, I hate my job, you know what, I want to do something else, and to make more money or whatever it is, and someone else might be already making money, and maybe they're only making $10,000 a month, but they want to get to the next level. So what do? Same thing. They want to make 100,000. Okay, so it's basically what is building us to believe in ourselves so we can succeed. Okay, which was pretty good. Then on the second video, what they basically show was our coach, and right here it basically shows Stephen Larson having a session with us, okay? And it was about a 30-minute video. And some of the things he discussed were, you know, how do you learn, okay? And he brought this up because he says, you know, he barely graduated high school. He failed out of college, and he had to say, you know what? This isn't working for me anymore. So he had to kind of like relearn. What he realized in a lot of these classes in college and stuff is the way he did better was he actually got someone who knew the information. Once he learned it, he taught someone else, okay? So how do you learn? You get a coach. Then from that, you become a coach, right? So I kind of see that in the classroom as well. I can honestly say where you'll have students with different abilities, and you know what? The student with the better ability might help the struggling student, right? It's almost like a modeling thing. And it does make sense with me because if you're starting to use the lingo together and you maybe only know parts of it, but as you continue to teach it, you start to understand it better. And it kind of goes forward and forward in a snowball effect. He also discussed that he had a ton of failures, Steve did, okay? And basically what he said was he had 12 different businesses. And it was about approximately 4 to 5 years before his first funnel, quote unquote, actually started making money. And that was really eye-opening to me because it's not going to be something where right away it's going to be a turnkey thing, right? There's going to be some struggles. There's going to be some pain with it. And what he said was, you know, it's basically growing pains. And it makes sense. Until you go through that struggle, it's only going to make you better. He also discussed in the next one here where it says, your failures, right here, will make you believable for the future. Well, I took that as makes sense. If I'm learning this from step 1, so, or we'll use the days, day 1 to day 30, and you're learning each step how to do this, right? It's only going to help you in the future by twofold, I believe, at least, that it's going to make me more credible to people that are maybe watching our channel because they're going to see, hey, how are these guys doing it? You know, I'm married, have a full-time job, trying to do this with my best friend, and, you know, his job, he travels, and it's like, how to find that time, right? And it was difficult today. You know, my wife was tutoring, and part of that tutoring, I had to pick up my daughter from school and start dinner and take her to gymnastics and then come back and, you know, bath time and the routine, and then trying to get, you know, the day 2 stuff accomplished, which was hard. But you know what? because I made it a priority, I did find the time. So it basically says your failures will make you believable in the future. Absolutely, because if I'm failing today, why did I fail? I'm going to learn from that mistake, so I'm not going to make that mistake a second time. And that's really important. And he kept saying that over and over in his video. Then he talked about his army story, which kind of made sense, that he was married. They were living off student loans. He was still in the army. I don't know if he was saying, I believe, weekends, and, you know, trying to figure out how to make more money because it wasn't enough. And he was all excited because he was reading a book on how to make more money and talking about funnels. And he was 8 months spending on this product. And he couldn't wait. And the day finally came. And for 3 months, he said no one came to his page. And he kind of forgot about it and left it alone. And he said, you know what? One day I was walking to class. All of a sudden, his phone goes off. Ding. And what happened? He saw money. And a few minutes later, ding, ding, ding. So he went into his app, called the person up and said, hey, you bought this from me? And the guy's like, yeah, this is great. This is awesome. And a light bulb went off on him. And he said, wow, you know what? I think I just figured out what it was. And he said all of a sudden, month 4, he started making money, right? And everything all clicked for him. So that's pretty crazy that, you know, 8 months of working and it failed, or at least he thought he did, and then all of a sudden it started working, okay? And then he ran a bunch of ads to it and things like that, and he explained it. Then he talked about, you know, me understanding me. And how that's important is basically, you know, what's my struggle? What's holding me back? And I know for me, like, I'm a great public speaker. Being in the classroom, it doesn't bother me. But being on camera for the first time was really nervous for me, right? So what I've been doing, I started just practicing. And I kind of said, you know what, forget the camera and just do what I do in the classroom. And it became a lot easier for me. Steve also talked about, you know what, he wasn't a good public speaker. So he would go in the bathroom and practice things, and even hand gestures, and whatever he had to do to fix it. And that kind of makes sense, right? You can't fix yourself if you don't know what's wrong with you, in the sense, right? So if you know, maybe you're not techie, then you got to figure out how you can become techie. Research it, whatever you need to do. So that made sense. So me understanding me was really, really helpful. Okay, and again, as you can see here, Stephen, had a nice 30-minute video. It was really, really helpful. And then they talked about, they had an additional information, which was the FHL 2017 Russell Brunson, You're One Funnel Away. Okay, and what that basically talked about was some of his failures. Okay, which is nice to see, because I've never seen this video, and it kind of talked about Russell when, all these different things that he tried over his career, like, reselling things on used things on eBay, and every project he would do, he would make a little money, a little bit more money, and a little bit more money. It kept growing and growing and growing, and I thought that was like really, really helpful. Okay, and then they talked about, creating the funnel. How you're going to create your funnel. And, they talked about, Stephen was talking about that as well. Basically, what's the proper order? And the proper order is, they're going to teach us how to sell. 2, how to create an offer. And 3, okay, create the funnel. He goes, and step 3 is pretty much a plug and play. Okay, it's really number 1, which is the most important thing. Teach how to sell. Okay, and I cannot wait to learn how to do that. That's, I think, my struggle, because I'm not in sales, but my friend Frank is in sales and marketing, so that comes a little bit more natural to him. So that's something, again, me understanding me, that's maybe one of my hiccups that I will work on. Okay. And then I just want to basically show you of what today's course load really was. Okay, so just give me a second to pull it up. Okay, and what it was basically here was the One Funnel Away Challenge, pre-training, mission 2, failure, and what it teaches us. So they use mission 1, mission 2. You know, I'll say day 1 or 2 to help keep us organized as well. And they talk about, you know, remembering the thing that determines how well you can do this challenge. You must believe that you can do this. Without belief, failure is basically going to happen, right? And some of the things that I had to do today: watch his video, answer the questions, comment with hashtag mission complete, and share my insight with the group. Some of the questions, for instance, number 1 is, what is the one thing / story or idea Russell said during the presentation that really stuck with you? And you know, what really, in my opinion, what really stuck with me with the presentation was he was honest about, you know what, there was a ton of funnels that he created that just bombed, and he just kept creating them and kept creating them and kept creating them, and he realized that, you know what, this worked here, and this worked here, and this worked here, and he kind of started piecing everything together until he started making kind of the ideal ClickFunnels, which was really an eye-opener for me, that he was, you know, vulnerable enough to admit that, and not to say, hey, you know what, I did my first funnel and it worked and I made millions of dollars, right? It made him absolutely credible. And, you know, keep going down here. It says, you know, why do you think it gave a reaction? What about it relates to your own life, your business, your fears, your dreams, etc.? And then, you know, number 3 is, you know, they want us to basically show how we did it. If we put in a Post-it, our journal, put in our whiteboard or assignment, okay? And I think it's kind of, you know, this is all from that workbook, and I just wanted to show you guys a digital copy of it that they gave us as well. But in our workbook, you know, we've been doing this work, and you know what? It is helpful. It's forcing us to stay on task, but you know what? It's not overwhelming. It's really not. You know, for those that are still kind of on the fence and stuff, you know, like I said, I have a full-time job, a family, running around, and I still found time to watch the videos, do the assignment, and then, you know, set up and record this, you know, because we want to show you this case study, really how it is. I don't know how it's going to turn out in 30 days, you know what, but I am excited to see what it's going on, okay? So again, this was our One Funnel Away Challenge, day 2 or mission 2, failure. I hope you, you know, tune in again. Make sure you hit that like button, or you subscribe to our Real Review channel, Real Review Hub channel, or excuse me, or just make sure you just keep following along and see what happens. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.